Okay.
Fuck elections. We got tweets. Why do atheists buy Christmas trees and gifts for their children? I don't know, Kevin, because it's fucking fun.
Like it's because
like, hey,
why? The better question
is Bluey the reason for the season?
The better question is, why do Christians buy Yule trees and capitalist gifts for their kids?
The Bible explicitly forbids Christmas trees. I want to say this in Jeremiah, but I'm a little bit drunk, so I might be wrong.
Like, which does it doesn't matter, K-Sorbs, because Christians shouldn't be doing it either.
Yeah.
But we all do it because it's fun.
Yeah, no, the original war on Christmas was Puritans, hardcore Christians that are like, hey, this celebration that you guys are doing is not reverent enough. We need to make it super duper serious. This is about the birth of Jesus, man. Like, no, you're not supposed to give gifts and have fun. You're supposed to spend the day thinking about how horrible a person you are and how grateful you are that Jesus came to save you. Like, that was the war on Christmas originally. But now they're like, oh no, if we don't commercialize it enough, then the libs have won.
Look, I'm glad that I was never a fan of Kevin Sorbo's acting.
I did enjoy Hercules as a child.
Hercules was that show along with Xena that I saw once and went, that's probably cool, and then I never watched again.
Yeah, no, I watched it as a kid. I don't remember much of it, and I never went back to it. Like, I went back to Star Trek The Next Generation. I went back to Pokemon, even though I don't really like Pokemon anymore as the show. It's kind of dumb. Sorry.
It's dumb, but it's dumber in English.
Yeah, no, the 90s show was dumb. But I never went back. I never even felt the urge to go back and watch Hercules. I do, however, regularly rewatch the clip of him trying to have an accent in the Revelation Road series. I don't even know what accent he's going for, but he's so bad at it, it's hilarious. And dude, the way he says territories, territories? You were here in the king's territories? And it's hilarious. And it's so bad that they actually took a moment in the movie to film a scene where him and David A.R. White are he comes aside and he just talks to him in his normal voice, and David A.R. White's like, where'd your accent go? And oh, if I put on the accent for the people, it makes me more mysterious.
Oh
so
my God.
They actually had a scene to explain why his accent was so bad in the fucking movie. It's amazing. I highly recommend watching Revelation Road. It's on YouTube. You're not going to be giving them too much money by watching it there. It's so fucking bad. And he's wearing this ridiculous fur coat type thing.
More ridiculous than the single bit of furry cloth he wore for Hercules?
Yeah, way more ridiculous than that.
Okay.
Because he's trying to be a tough guy in it. But he's not. He's just Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo, noted tough guy?
Yeah.
Trademark?
This was also from Kevin Sorbo. I didn't capture the tweet. I just saved the meme.
Oh, I saw this one.
The Three Wise Men says, there was no pandemic. Climate change is a hoax. Men can't get pregnant. And they're giving gifts of gold, common sense, and unvaccinated sperm. So I'm just why are you giving unvaccinated sperm to a baby? If you are giving your sperm to a baby, if you are giving sperm to a baby, that's a fucking problem.
No,
you
don't
need to be
understand.
In jail. You need to be in jail.
The baby Jesus needs his cummies.
I came in the baby Jesus' face.
I need the baby Jesus to come inside me.
And that's why I was wise. What the fuck is this? What the fuck even is this? This is what goes for conservative humor, and it's funny because they're stupid. It's not even funny because of any of the normal rules of comedy. It's funny because they just accidentally implied that one of the wise men gave baby Jesus his cum.
Conservative humor 9 times out of 10 is it's funny because I'm not supposed to say it.
Yeah, no, their whole thing, I haven't seen the most recent Ricky Gervais thing, but I've heard other people talking about it, and it's basically, it's kind of sad because it's just him saying like, oh, you know what else the woke people won't let me say? This. And I just said this. Ha ha. It's funny because I said this and that offends them. You're like, okay, no, you can do offensive comedy. Like, you can still do offensive comedy and it can still be funny, but just being like, hey, this is offensive. And I just said it, so it's funny. Like, no, that's just lazy. Fuck off with that shit. Like, Ricky Gervais used to be funny, but he's not anymore because he's trying to pander to conservatives that their whole brand now is just triggering the libs. Except the stuff they do doesn't actually trigger the libs. It's just like, okay, that's kind of dumb. Like the trailer that we watched for Lady Ballers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, that doesn't even look funny. It just looks like you're trying to do a thing that you think will make us angry, but like it's not even funny. Like, at least make it funny.
What sucks about, so I had a friend who was very conservative, and I've talked about it on my channel a few times because that particular falling out stung a lot because I considered him a very good friend.
Yeah.
But I do remember a conversation we had about Ben Shapiro once, and it's weird because this is one of those conversations that you expect to have in like a forum, like not a conversation you have with normal fucking people. Where he goes, you know Ben Shapiro, right? Like, yeah, God, he makes them live so mad. What? That's the thing that I expect to see in like it's backwash Twitter.
No, we laugh at him because he says sell your flooded house to Aquaman.
Reminds me of the moment earlier in my stream, somebody who I'm not going to say tried to say that you don't need any type of media oversight in the world because parents always should be keeping an eye on what their kids are watching, and parental controls are available on, and I'm going to try to quote this as best as I can, iPads, phones, TVs, and books.
And books?
So I grabbed a book from my closet. It was the copy of Resident Evil 0 that I have. And I just flipped through it real quick, noted how dusty it was because I haven't read it in a while, but flipped through it a bunch and just went, I can't find the fucking parental controls. Where are they? I have no idea where these are, but I'm told they're here.
I got my kid, one of my kids, the like physical book guide to Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking loves it, but he's like, first day he was like, can you unlock my Switch so I can like use the book to play Tears of the Kingdom? I'm like, just read the fucking book. It's Christmas Day. Read your book. Don't play video games or like play with the other kids. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I just thought it was funny that Kevin like tweeting a thing about giving sperm to a baby. Like, why?
Baby Jesus needs his cummies.
Yeah. And
I can't read that. What does that say?
This was fun. So John Cleese, this is not the main thing I want to talk about. So John Cleese tweeted, this was a joke, 5 ways that Hitler was preferable to Trump. 1, he fought for his country. 2, he never used a teleprompter. 3, he was nice to dogs. 4, he wrote his own books. 5, he never played golf. And 6, he wasn't a big fat slob. You know,
okay.
Classic John Cleese giving 6 lists in a list of 5. Fine, whatever. 5 ways Trump is preferable to Hitler. 1, he doesn't practice genocide. 2, he has nicer hair. 3, 4, 5. Like, okay, that's a reasonably funny joke. That's not one of John Cleese's best, but it's reasonably funny.
Mm-hmm.
What's extra funny about this was Sargon of Akkad replied to this, like, it seems like you're saying that you prefer Hitler to Trump, FYI.
No, it doesn't.
That's the fucking joke! Like, that's the joke, Carl! That's the joke!
It only seems like it's an actual note of preference if your ability to understand hyperbole has just died.
Like, Carl is British! This is classic British dry humor! Like, here are all the good things about Hitler. Ha ha ha, it's all superficial shit that doesn't even matter. Here's the good things about Trump. He doesn't practice genocide. He has nice hair, which he objectively does not. That's the joke! Like, Sargon missing this joke made my fucking day today. Like, I saw that, I burst out laughing, I sent it to you, or like I sent you a hint that this was what I was going to cover.
Yeah, like, you mentioned we were going to talk about Sargon.
It's just like, that's classic British humor. How can you fucking miss that? That's amazing. Like, forget this. This was like mediocre funny. Like, it's okay. It's not John Cleese's best. It's not his worst either. It's moderately amusing. But Sargon missing it, especially being British himself, is just like, that's amazing. Like, mwah.
Well,
I could not have made anything funnier than that.
It's even funnier when you remember the types of things that Sargon thinks are humorous. If you remember when he was trying to be MP,
like his I wouldn't even rape her, that thing.
Yes, that. Yeah.
Like, speaking of which,
he considers humorous.
So the debate that he was supposed to have on that with Thomas Smith. Thomas Smith, actually fucking love Thomas Smith. He's a great guy. He's on the Dear Old Dads podcast. He's on the Where There's Woke podcast, which I highly recommend, especially if you have ADHD. That's like ADHD candy, where he's on like a 27 episode series on the renaming of the James Webb Telescope and like how James Webb actually was a terrible choice for that. And like he just went into this deep dive that ended up with like a like almost an audio drama about this trial of 3 black men where this prosecutor named Stennis was trying to get these guys the death penalty, even though there was zero evidence that they did anything. And like it's this fucking fascinating journey that, like, as a person with ADHD, I'm like following it intensely. I'm like, no, give me all the fucking details.
Is this why I like the new H Bomber Guy format
maybe
so much?
Yeah, like the 3-hour video on the oof sound. Yeah, that's amazing.
Or the 4-hour video on the on plagiarism.
4-hour video on plagiarism. Yeah. There's I've had enough whiskey now. I don't remember if this was live or if this was before we went live, but we talked about Doctor Who quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. That was live.
Yeah, so a lot of the points that, like, I articulated the points about why I'm not watching it anymore much better than I would have had I not seen the 5-hour video from JXE about Chibnall's Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything he said was like, yeah, that actually does remind me, like, that actually is a good reason why, like, because I wasn't like thinking about it consciously, but it was just like, I'm not enjoying this as much as I did the previous seasons, and I can't quite place my finger on it. And then he made a 5-hour video and was like, yes, that's exactly it. Like, the companions never questioned the Doctor, whereas in previous seasons, integral parts of the plot were always the companions being like, hey, Doctor, that's fucking immoral. Don't do that.
Not all of us can regenerate after we die.
Whereas Chibnall's Doctor was like, no, everything she does is perfect. It wasn't even about regeneration. It was just like, she teleported them into the cold vacuum of space, where if it hadn't been for a massive coincidence, they all would have died. And that was just never addressed. Like, they were never like, hey, you massively endangered our lives by doing that. Why would you do that? It was just like, oh no, you're actually the best person because you're the Doctor, and the Doctor is always the best person. And like, that was one of those things where, like, it never sat well with me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But then I watched that 5-hour video in several sittings because I can't sit down and watch a fucking 5-hour video. What do you?
Yeah, no, like, it's the type of thing that I always end up having on my phone and on my PC.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, you watch it a little bit when you're doing something, then you watch it a little bit while you're, you know, like on the way to go pick up food. It's just playing in the background.
Yeah. But like, without JXC making that video, I wouldn't have been able to quite articulate this. But like, everything he said was like, yeah, no, that actually explains why I didn't like that Doctor very much. And it's like, I wanted to like that Doctor because it was the woke one where the Doctor's finally a girl. It's finally a woman Doctor.
The left told you were supposed to love it.
Like, I'm supposed to love... Yeah, that was it. Like, I'm supposed to love this, but I just don't. And I feel like I should, but I don't. And it wasn't because it went woke. It was because Chibnall sucked. And I hope it gets better with the future seasons. So I will watch the 3rd special. And Shannon is really mad about that. in our group chat because apparently the Doctor kills people. I don't know. So
no, I've seen Batman kill enough people.
We'll see. Well, yeah, and there was that Superman thing where he snapped Zod's neck.
Yeah,
like, that was after he like destroyed an entire city and probably killed a bunch of people in the process.
It was after he had a whole Dragon Ball Z fight. But don't worry, the next snap, that was the straw.
Yeah.
It felt like that in the theater, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, there was a...
So, Frank Turek, this is what he was tweeting on Christmas fucking Day. The day that his Lord and Savior was born. He says, transgender ideologists say you can change your sex, but the truth is you can't change your chromosomal makeup, your gene makeup. You can change your mind, but not your biology.
Okay, cool. I don't fuck people's chromosomes.
Well, also, so yeah, no, fine, whatever. Grant that gender identity is not the same as sex. Fine, even if I grant that, you're still an idiot. But also, it's been shown that there's one single gene in humans that if you deactivate it, it will reverse their gonadal sex.
Wait, what?
I forget the fucking study, so please look this up. Don't just take my word for it. I've had too much scotch for you to trust me on this. But, like, there's one single gene that if you deactivate that gene, your gonadal sex will flip. And, like, maybe not your chromosomal sex, but your gonadal sex, which is one of the things that these anti-trans bigots will always latch on to. Like, oh, you can't change what gonads you make. Like, well, yeah.
What?
If you just flip off this one single fucking gene as an adult, it will actually change which gonads or which gametes, whatever. I always say gametes, and people make fun of me for it, but fuck it. That's how I learned it. It's gametes.
Kind of weird to think about that. So if gonads are something they care about so much, are cis women who have full hysterectomies, like where the ovaries are removed and everything too?
No, they don't actually care about the fucking data. What are you... Yeah. Stop getting all nuanced and shit, Suris.
That's my job! It's literally my job.
Yeah, mine too.
We picked the wrong career path.
I mean, relevant to your discussion earlier, I'm actually considering I'm kind of behind on my work because of the holidays and the renovations that are happening in my house and a bunch of other shit that's going on as well. So I'm actually considering for my, not this Friday's video, but for the next Friday's video, rather than doing a scripted edited video, I'm just going to like read an article and give my off the cuff response to whatever I find in that article.
Okay.
And just as I need to have a video out for that week and I don't have time to actually make a video, so I'm just going to do a low effort shit.
It's just the same thing we do on tweets.
Yeah, but also I feel like that might do well, and I'm not sure what that would mean for the future of my channel. If like low effort garbage will do well, why would I put effort into it?
It's kind of a terrifying prospect.
Because also like the video that is scheduled for this Friday that I have done, it's not low effort per se, but they're like at the end I kind of go off the rails, and I got to a point where it's like, I have addressed this point so many times. Can I just have some fun with it? Like, my audience knows, most of them. Like, yeah, it's going to be someone's first video. Most of my audience knows, so I'm just going to fucking make fun of this guy. I'm just going to rip into him. Like as the video progresses, like my newest videos, I always have like the suit jacket and bow tie. So like as this one progresses, like first my bow tie comes undone, and then my suit jacket comes off, and then my shirt comes undone, and you see my undershirt underneath. And you know, yeah, I did kind of plan that out, but I'm also off the rails a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I had fun with it, but it was also a lot of effort. So like I'm kind of curious where this is going to land in the YouTuber paradox, because like the YouTuber paradox is if you put effort into something, nobody watches it. But if you just do low effort bullshit, everybody watches it. So this is like, I put effort into it, but it's effort that makes it look like low effort bullshit.
You'll have to let me know how that ends up turning out, because
I hope it does well. I think the thumbnail is catchy enough that people will click on it, but I don't know. Scott Delahunt is saying a slow rhino striptease. Yeah, if you want to see my dick, I will start an OnlyFans, and I will show you my dick, because I have no shame. It's not impressive, but like, it's there. It's a dick.
It's there.
It's, you know, it's not above average, but it's not below average either.
It's just what you would want in a proper pecker.
It's just there. But it's a dick. Does anybody really like dicks? Like, even people that are like into men, do they really like the dicks?
I will not comment.
Dicks are weird. So are balls. Balls are just weird. They're kind of ugly.
Balls are the weird part.
They're kind of ugly.
So I will say this. I know the artists in my fandom, we'll go ahead and call it. And I know many of their affinities for Futanari. So do some of them legitimately like it? Oh, definitely. 110%. I have seen the evidence.
Okay, sure. I think dicks look weird. But I'm also not into them, so maybe to some people they look good. Anyway, this is my favorite comment. So this was on a short of mine, in which I showcased Greg Locke saying in one moment he was like, "Oh, if you go to a church and they tell you do this or go somewhere else because, you know, if you don't act like this, you're not part of our church. That's not a church. That's a cult." And then I put that right next to a clip of him being like, "If you come to my church and you're wearing a mask, don't wear a mask to my church. Go somewhere else." Like, okay, so by Greg Locke's own definition, he's a cult. His church is a cult. So this person says, in response to that, says, "I visited and wore a mask and they had no problem with it until they had vandalism and threats on their family and their house. Then it became a security issue. They wanted to see faces on camera in case anyone pulled a gun, and he said so. I was there when he said it. So stop the bullcrap, because it was your family that terrified the crowd outside. Or because if it was your family that was terrified with a crowd outside of BLM, you'd change your rules too." Okay, fair enough. If something like that happened, if he actually received a threat and that made him change his stance, fine, whatever. I've never received what I consider to be a serious threat. I definitely have received threats, but I don't consider them to be serious.
No.
But like, if I had received what I consider to be a serious threat, then yeah, I could, like, I would fucking pretend to be a Christian if it would protect my kids. So yeah, I would absolutely compromise my principles if it would protect my fucking children, because I love those little fuckers. So whatever.
Because you're more worried about their real lives than your principles.
Yeah, so whatever. I'm fine with that. Sure, fine. He changes things to protect his family, whatever. But then they finish it by saying, "Oh, and also, I sat by black people a few times, so they're not racist either." I just burst out fucking laughing when I saw that. Like,
I have a black friend. I met
a
black person.
Sir, this isn't even "I have a black friend." This is "I sat next to a black person one time, therefore I'm not racist." Like, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, God. Like, I didn't say anything about Greg Locke being racist in that video. It was just, hey, he's a cult. But they're like, "Oh yeah, also, I sat next to a black person, so we're not racist." Okay, cool. The fact that you felt the need to say that says a lot more than what you think it's saying. I actually replied to this one being like, "Thanks, that's the funniest comment I've received on any of my videos all month."
I'm not racist, but...
Oh, God. Like, unironically, I sat next to black people, therefore I can't be racist.
Rhino.
And I'm assuming this is with regards to penises being weird. Leah Keo says, "As a bisexual person, I agree. Because penises are weird and not attractive."
They're floppy.
Well, when they're not floppy, it's just like a weird looking, stiff, veiny thingamajig. Like, so here's the thing. As a straight guy, I can understand why you would think like Chris Hemsworth's body is sexy. I get that. He's a sexy man. I even can kind of understand why you would think that dad bod is sexy. But, like, penises? They're just weird. So, I don't even think that, like, people that are into men, I'm not convinced that they're actually into penises.
I'm too demi to have a good actual conversation about this.
Well, my partner is convinced that I am not entirely straight because of how often I pontificate on this subject.
My girlfriend has a dick, and I can pontificate on it all I want.
Well, because that's the thing. Like, my partner, like, if she had a dick, she's still an amazing person that I want to spend a lot of time with and is great. Like, and if she had a dick and wanted me to suck it sometimes, like, even if I didn't like dicks, yeah. If I get to spend time with you in exchange for sucking your dick sometimes, yeah, I would do that. That would be amazing. Anyway, Katini says penises feel good. Like, yeah, I understand that. I get that. Like,
that's because they're in the shape of dildos.
Yeah, it's the shape that's meant to go in that particular hole.
I said, oh Lord, most of the My Little Pony community. Nope, we're not talking about clopping today, Big H Gamer. Not today.
No, we are talking about Pastor Parrot, though, who says, your hot take, religion is the primary cause of human rights abuses. My hot take, if it weren't for religion, you wouldn't have a concept of what human rights are.
You're not a good person if you need rules.
But, yeah, like, I don't know, like, he's of a religion that says that slaves are okay. It's okay to own slaves. Like, that's anti-human rights. So are you really going to say that your religion gives us human rights when your religion says slaves are okay to own? When the punishment for rape is to marry the rapist?
You gave us the human rights to being burned in a lake of fire that we vaguely alluded to a couple times in the book, maybe.
Ooh, we can go back to Doctor Who with this one, because one of the things is that, like, you know how the Doctor is consistently against using guns? But, like, in previous incarnations, they will always figure out a non-violent solution to the problem, as opposed to just, like, killing the thing. Whereas, like, the Chibnall Doctor will be like, yeah, no, I won't use a gun, but I'll starve it to death in a room that it can't escape. But I didn't use a gun, so I'm more moral. Well, there's another episode where the alien that killed Graham's wife, now Graham is up against him, and he's like, I got a gun. I'm just going to kill the motherfucker. I don't care that the Doctor doesn't like guns. And then the payoff of that episode is, oh, no, you know what? I'm better than that. I'm not going to use the gun to just kill you. Instead, as the morally superior thing, I'm going to lock you in stasis where you are conscious and in torment for the rest of eternity. Like, no, the gun would be the better option.
More moral.
The gun would be the more moral option there. Like, no, sorry, Chris Chibnall. You're bad at writing. Stop it. Stop trying to write. Just leave the Doctor alone. Go away. We don't want you.
And this is just there's so many bad person wrote Batman isms that are just going through my brain right now. Like, yeah.
Not to jump around too much, but Leah Keogh says, we like the idea of dicks, but they aren't aesthetically pleasing like the lady parts are. And I agree with that. And so my partner is bi, and I feel like she is kind of in agreement with me here that dicks are just weird. And she tolerates that I have a dick. She doesn't enjoy that I have a dick.
That's one way.
She's with me for my personality, but she tolerates that there's also a dick there.
You know, Rhino, if yours was of a sufficient size, it wouldn't have to be tolerating man juices.
No, see, that's the thing, though. Like, I feel like the massive ones are not actually a good thing.
No, they can rip your partner in half.
Yeah, like
not fully in half. That's in manga.
Do you really want to get to the actual cervix? Like, no, I want to be able to go all the way in.
God.
Are you enjoying my conversation about dicks? She's over there grabbing cereal from the... She says dicks are weird.
See, I feel... God, I don't want to sound conceited saying this, but I have had the experience of accidentally tearing a partner because of that before. So I'm just like, yeah, no, I get it. That's bad.
See, no, I am perfectly average. It is exactly 6 inches, like the average is, right? That's the average.
I'll take that. Not like that. No, not like. God damn it.
Fan artists, get on it.
God damn it.
He said it. It's canon now.
Uh.
This is what happens when you give me scotch instead of beer. I've had 3 glasses, which is too much. Damn it. That's like the equivalent of 6 beers, but I only normally have 3. Anyway, Megan Kelly says Bud Light never apologized or even acknowledged how deeply it offended its customers. That's because it's still beholden to the vicious trans activists who threatened it, and it cares more about them than its customers. Why would you give them your business? Because one musician folded? Hard no. So the musician that folded was apparently Kid Rock, was pictured with some Bud Light after his whole like shooting it with a shotgun thing.
I think it matters more why your general population was offended.
So here's the thing though, like corporations just care about money. That's literally all they care about. They don't care about offending people. They want to make the choice that will bring them the most money. So if they have not apologized, that means that some marketing executive has been like, hey, if we apologize, we're going to piss off the trans people because we apologize for acknowledging that trans people exist. And then trans people will be less likely to buy our beer, and the people that support trans people. If we just kind of like quietly ignore that this whole thing happened, then maybe everybody will just start buying our beer again because it's one of the most common and most cheap beers that you can get. And when it comes to alcohol, most people don't care about fucking taste. They're just looking for the buzz. Like that's why I'm drinking a $60 bottle of 12-year-old scotch instead of the $120 bottle of 12-year-old scotch.
Because it's there to get you drunk.
It's there for the buzz. If I wanted the taste, I'd spend the $120 and get the better bottle and just drink less of it and enjoy it over a longer period of time. But I want to balance between, I want to feel the buzz and I want it to taste good. So like this tastes good and gets me the buzz for much cheaper than the Macallan does. But the Macallan is objectively better. And also, like, every single fucking beer company has a Pride ad that you can find if you look for it. Like, the Kent Hovind School for Kids Who Can't God Good says Coors Light has entered the chat. It's like, yeah, Coors Light has one of those Pride ads. So does Bud Light. All the beer companies have Pride ads. All of them. Because they have determined that gay people drink beer too. So if we appeal to them, they'll be more likely to drink our beer.
It's almost as if having a broader audience appeal is better than cutting it down political divides. If you're a corporation.
Okay, Senshini says, I love how you said that Chris Rock shot Bud Light with a shotgun because he used some automatic gun to miss them. Someone off screen shot them with a shotgun at the same time to make it look like Chris Rock hit them. Did I say Chris Rock? Because I meant Kid Rock, because it was Kid Rock, not Chris Rock. Those are two very different people.
I think you said Kid Rock.
Okay. I just want to acknowledge that like Kid Rock is a white guy, Chris Rock is not a white guy. Those are not people that I would normally confuse.
You did mention the whole you should never use the argument you can't see race thing. We have evidence of that now.
Yeah, no, and so maybe I can't see race if I No, oh god, no. Because I think Chris Rock, if I recall correctly, Chris Rock is a bit of a right-wing guy as well.
I don't remember. I've never cared enough about him as an individual to find out.
Senchini says, sorry, my bad on the name, it's 5 a.m. That's a legitimate excuse. I get it. So on a normal school day, I have to get up at 6 a.m. to get my kids ready for their bus that leaves at 7 a.m. So I get it. It's not a good time to be up. And then
Dwayne the Kid Rock Johnson.
Fuzzy One says, Chris or Kid, what's the diff? A bunch of melatonin is, or not melatonin, melanin. Bunch of melanin is the difference.
I used to get those confused, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Years ago, I would say one instead of the other, and it wasn't until I had enough friends make fun of me that I figured it out.
I mean, so here's the thing. Before I knew anything about God damn it, now I'm doing Kid Rock. Before I knew anything about Kid Rock's music, the thing I knew Kid Rock most for was being in the sex video with Scott Stapp of Creed. Because I didn't listen to Kid Rock, I listened to Creed. And then I found that Creed had a sex tape. I'm like, what? Creed sex tape? With Kid Rock? What? Who is this Kid Rock guy? So that was my introduction to Kid Rock's music, was I first saw him receiving a blowjob with Scott Stapp backstage.
Huh. Well, you know, everybody gets their cherry pop somehow. I guess that's one way of having it.
Lobo says, Hunter Biden says that the House GOP has no shame. Has he ever seen his own laptop? So here's the thing about that. I have videos on my computer that I do not want the general public to see. I do not want my kids to see it. But it's on my specific personal computer where I have an expectation of privacy. I expect that if I bring my computer in for service and someone stumbles upon this video, they will professionally be like, oh, I will pretend that I never saw that. Whereas Lauren Boebert, I don't know if it was her or Marjorie Taylor Greene, because they're the same person in my mind, even though they fucking hate each other for some reason. But one of them went to Congress with like uncensored pictures of Hunter's dick. Like, that shows that you have no shame. The fact that you stole his dick pics and brought them to Congress shows that you have no shame. The fact that he had his own dick pics on his own private laptop, that doesn't say that he has no shame. That says that he's just a guy. Because most guys probably have a video or a picture of them on their devices somewhere that they don't want made public.
That was Marjorie, though, not Lobo.
Okay. Well, whatever. They're the same person.
They are.
How does she feel? Like, she wants to talk about him about no shame? Like, she was fondled in a theater with fucking kids in it. And she was giving a guy a hand job in the same theater. Does she have no shame? Like, that's at least a situation where, like, you don't have an expectation of privacy when you're at the theater. On your own private laptop, you have an expectation of privacy. So
I think it's because they're of the opinion that the more terrible thing is that you took the picture in the first place. That's what shows that you're not decent.
Yeah, but Lauren Boebert shouldn't be the one making that call.
Yeah.
Like, this was all post titty grabbing, hand job giving in a theater with children, that she says he has no shame because he had a private picture that other people stole from him. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I don't want the pictures and videos that I have of myself that I don't necessarily want. Like, I definitely don't want my kids to see, but like, I don't want made public. If someone steals from me and makes them public, it's like, whatever. These are things that people do. I didn't want you to see it, but now it's out there. If you're going looking for it, that's on you.
In my chat, anti-alias Polygon says, let's be real, if I was Hunter, I'd be like, if Lobo will release the full unredacted contents of the personal computers, I'll plead guilty to anything and they can get a judge to back it up. I feel like...
Sure.
I feel like Hunter Biden's laptop functions better as the fucking
briefcase
from Pulp Fiction.
I will release all of my sex tapes if Lobo gives full access to all of her private devices to any investigative committee that gets formed. If that'll actually do anything, sure, why not? Anyway, Cute Black Housewife says, now, in, I don't want to say my defense necessarily, but apparently there have been a lot of, so this was on Threads, and apparently I captured the screenshot in the middle of like a rash of people pretending to be like black conservative
Oh yeah, the
people.
as a black man
there have been
moment.
there have been a bunch of those accounts popping up that aren't necessarily genuine, and I didn't know that when I took the screenshot, but I've since learned that. So let's just assume that this is genuine for the sake of this conversation. So Cute Black Housewife says, as a former atheist and prior agnostic, atheists can't tell me squat about my Bible. I read my book cover to cover and study it regularly. How can you tell me what to believe when you don't believe in anything? It's like, okay, I'm not going to say you were never an atheist because you said something like this, but you were never a thoughtful atheist. Because every atheist I know has become an atheist partly because of reading the Bible and actually putting thought into it.
Or in some cases, no longer having a feedback loop of indoctrination.
Yeah. Like, I did study the Bible. That's how I wound up an atheist. Like, at first, it was just like Phil Plait posted something that was like a fairly minor contradiction. And I was like, ooh, the Bible can't have contradictions, so that can't work. But then it was like, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like, I can see how you can make that work, but like the all-powerful God of the universe shouldn't need you to make it work. It should just work. And so it's like, and then that sat with me for years, and I still continued going to church, and eventually I got to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to sit down and read the Bible cover to cover. And then I got to by the book of Joshua, I was an atheist, because book of Joshua is like, God said, and then go kill everybody. All the men, women, children, babies, everything.
You're just like, I don't want to follow this guy.
If you're not the right race, we kill you. That's the way it goes. Because God is just. I'm like,
I don't know, Rhino.
That's not the God that I was taught about in school.
I don't know, Rhino. You're looking kind of Canaanite to me.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. Like, Phinehas was celebrated because he killed the couple that was a miscegenated couple.
Oh, that is amazing. Cat Bingo says, what made you guys atheists? For me, the answer was cringe. It was Evangelion that made me an atheist. You know what?
Good for you. Good for you.
That's fine.
Good
That's
for
perfectly
you.
fine.
That's a better use of your time than reading the Bible. And I say this as someone who, like, that's part of my job is to read the Bible. I just got a So for Christmas, my partner got me a one of the Anchor Bible editions, which is some of the epistles. Mm-hmm. Not the Pauline epistles, but some of the disputed ones. And I know it's signed by the guy who compiled them and did the translation. But that's not what it says in the cover. It's like it says in the cover in the note of the used bookstore that this came from. That is like, this is a special edition because it's signed by the author. Like,
so it's signed by God.
So I have a book of I have some of the books of the Bible that are signed by the author according to. So I actually have one of those things. It was like signed by author, and it's great, and I love it, and I know it means the guy who translated it for the Anchor Bible. And like,
it's a book signed by God,
but it still made me giggle. And there's this whole like handwritten note in the beginning that I wanted to decipher, but it's like, it's one of those like the handwriting is such that it's hard to read. Like, it's not hard to read because it's bad handwriting. It's just hard to read because writing is just not clear in general. Yeah, but I really want to decipher that at some point. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not generally one to say, like, oh, you were never really an atheist. But, like, if this is your take on atheism, you probably, like, if you were an atheist, it's because you never thought about it. That's my point here.
I read Richard Dawkins once. Now I don't like God.
And that's actually the last tweet. And we're only an hour over time, so.
Not a whole lot of tweets today.
No, that was normally I do 7. I think we're at 9 today.
Oh, it just went by faster.
Yeah. Well, that's because I tried to make it go by faster because we're an hour late, and I still have to. Like, we have guys coming to demolish our kitchen tomorrow, and there's still stuff in our kitchen that we don't want demolished that we have to take out. So
fair enough.
And so shout out to my partner and how amazing she is. I joked about how, like, last time we streamed, I was like, hey, you know what? my partner's gone to bed, so after the stream, I'm just going to play a little bit of this video game that I found. That's like this cute little angel goes to hell and fight demons video game that seems kind of apropos for my channel. Like, it matches my brand. Why not? So I'm just going to play a little bit of that after the stream. And so, like, today, it's like, you know, we have contractors coming tomorrow to demolish the kitchen. So if we don't have everything out of the kitchen, they can't do that, and we can't get our new kitchen. So I'm like... So I made a joke about how, like, oh yeah, so while you're doing the hard manual labor, I'm going to be like, I'm going to play some video games. And she was like, no, that's fine. If it's part of your channel, part of your business, that's fine. Go for it. You play the video games. I will do the thing.
You are still working.
And I'm just like, no, that was supposed to be a joke about me being an inconsiderate douchebag. You're not supposed to be this understanding. Because she is amazing. She is an amazing person. And, like, at risk of getting too mushy, I actually do, like within a couple months of dating each other, we were talking about moving in, but both of us were like, no, we have to be like dating for a year at least before moving in becomes a serious consideration. And then she moved in with me at like the 8-month mark.
Yeah.
And so like that's been kind of a thing. It was like that was our concern. It was like, what if this is just the honeymoon thing, and you know, when we move in together, it turns out like, oh, you squeeze the toothpaste tube the wrong way, so we can't, like, that really bothers me, or whatever. Like, whatever normal shit that couples fight over. And like, and I still like regularly will have moments where it's like, I'm so lucky to have this person in my life. And
good.
I just get like this well of emotions that are like, I love that she's with me. I love that she puts up with me. And like, yeah, this is mushy and gross, and I know you guys probably don't want to hear it, but like the fact that like I make that joke and she's like, no, if that's what you need to do to pay the bills, I will empty the kitchen while you play video games for money. And I'm just like, but that was supposed to be a joke about how like I would never do something that inconsiderate.
And she's just like, nah,
she's like, cool. No, if that's what you need to do to make money, that's what you need to do. And like, I don't know. I love her. She's great. So anyway, on that note, I think that's a good note to end it on. And on a positive note, I love my partner.
I'm glad you're happy, dude.
I am. I like regularly, she will like be cuddling me in bed, and I'll be like on the verge of tears with like, how did I get so lucky? Because she actually like likes me and is a good person.
It's good to know I'm not the only one that does that.
And I know she does it too, because like sometimes she'll like look at me and be like, I love you, and I don't think you understand how much I love you. Like, no, I don't think you understand how much. And sorry, I'm a little bit drunk, so like I'm getting a bit more personal than normal, but this is actually how we are sober. So she's great. And yeah, as always, fuck off.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.